for some big action here from Reapers. But again, CBW, like you said, looking for the bounce back, totally possible, but having to do it against the top dogs in the league is like one of the hardest things to do. So definitely going to be a bit of a uphill battle here for them if they don't want to, lose back-to-back weeks. But what are you looking for from these teams? You obviously, I am subbed today, so you are way more familiar with them than me. So what are you kind of expected for both these teams as we prepare here for the first draft?
I'm expecting CBW to bring some action. Maybe do something a little non-orthodox. Get into it. When you're going against the best team, I want to see their draft to be fun and comfort. And then I also want to see them, take the action to them, be aggressive early on. Maybe try the early invades. Set up a couple of like good, solid from outside of the normal realm for ganks or maybe roams and stuff like that. I really want to see them bring the pressure because you literally have nothing to lose going up against a team that's as good as Reapers that's only lost one match completely in this entire season.
Absolutely. We are hopefully going to be hopping into draft here soon, but again, do you know like what is the comfort like, especially like any meta picks that you are looking for in this upcoming draft? Like anything in particular you want to see banned? Obviously, with World's Action, there's obviously like a lot of talk, like especially around that Mundo play. Like, oh my God, Mundo is my perma ban. I just hate that champion in general. So like, is there anything in particular you do not want to see? Anything exciting you do want to see? Anything like that?
I want to see engage and a lot of CC coming out from the bot lanes. I'd really like to see these guys go at it. The 2v2 can really just accelerate the entire team. I think Urameshi up in the top lane over for CBW is going to be one to look at. I know him from another league, and I don't want to see boring stuff. I don't want to just see the Jinx Braum, although we can see it. But here in the Gladiator realm, we do see a lot of fun stuff. We'll see like a weird jungle. We'll see a weird. Actually, one of the teams in had like an Aurelian Soul jungle. And Elise did. So it's like I want to see some fun stuff, and I expect Reapers to come out with something standard. Probably towards the meta. And CBW, I want to see them. I want to see them come out with something cool. Maybe a AP bot lane with a tank, and then send like an AD into the mid or something like that. Just
Oh, and anything that shakes up like a normal draft, I always find so exciting. I'm definitely gonna be hoping for something like that. We are in draft now. We are seeing some bans that you already mentioned. You didn't want to see the Braum. It is already out. As CBW taking out the Rise, Braum, and Singed. Bit of an odd one. Obviously, I haven't seen the OP.GGs yet. Well, I'm gonna be relying on you for that. But Singed, definitely not a meta pick, so definitely a targeted ban, I would assume. And on the other side, Jax, Nico, and Malphite. We will not be seeing the Rock in this game, and it's going to be a first pick Aurora. What are the angles that you're seeing here?
Right now, I think that they're just going to prioritize probably their solo laners. Maybe that Aurora is probably just going to they're probably hoping for something that they can just punish in the mid lane and work around. Meanwhile, Reapers going with the Wukong, just kind of standard meta jungler there, and a Galio in the mid lane, which Galio, especially in this league, so many teams will try to overcommit to bad plays because it looks like a good play, and then all of a sudden Galio's there, and then next thing you know, the entire fight is turned up against you. So I do like the Volibear. I'm hoping that's a Voli top for Urameshi. He's very strong on that, but I'm not exactly sure where else this is going to go. But like I said, I thought they were going to have their solo ringers come out, and then nice safe pick, Zyra, perfect into a Wukong Galio comp.
I as a jungler, I could say Volibear is probably the strongest, if not one of the strongest junglers on the patch right now. So definitely has that flex angle. But again, also the Galio, I think has a bit of a flex angle because we don't know if that Aurora is going top or mid. So definitely, it is kind of curious. You see the Wukong, who was notoriously weak to magic, and the Galio, who was notoriously strong to magic. So definitely having a bit of dichotomy there, and trying to provide. They have that easy follow-up with the Galio Wukong ultimates, and Yunara, who had really fallen out of the meta. No, she got recently buffed, so I have not seen the buffs really in action, so I'm excited to see what they are able to pull out in this game. But as we head into the second round of bans, we have Shen and Taric taken out by the Reapers, and CBW taking out the Warwick and Yorick. And that wow, that was not a tongue twister I was expecting. But so definitely like are they angling towards like a Shen support maybe is what they were looking to take out, more defensive tools for the Xayah? I don't know. And as we see the Talia picked up, that kind of leads me to think that it is Galio top.
I think that mainly they were probably trying to negate a Galio ult being turned around by a Shen ult. You know what I mean? So like, if you can get a pick on somebody, if that Shen comes in, especially on the Udyr or the Volibear, then it can basically completely negate the Blitzcrank comes out. Okay, all right, I'll pull
that
here.
is
That's
spicy.
Yes, I love it. Especially against a champion like Yunara, who already takes so much of your mental acuity to just keep the fingers going. You know.
It's Galio support, I think.
Galio support.
Galio support. Okay.
That'll be a lot of fun. I mean, it could be a yeah, more than likely Galio support. I would think here.
That's the only real angle I see.
Yeah.
We can,
I like that they
can
flexed
see.
it.
Yeah, and that's the power of Galio. He's good in 3 different roles, 100%. I personally think he's a lot of fun too. Like, I usually find tanks pretty fun. I think Ornn is one of my favorite champions, but like Galio is still a ton of fun as well. But I think you were also right that it is indeed Volibear top. And likely Udyr in the jungle. Again, those two very, very similar champions actually, so they can easily be swapped around. We have seen both in both roles, but overall, definitely a bit of a spicy draft. You know, bringing out the Blitzcrank, Galio support, definitely some fun angles here. What's your vibe here going into this game? Again, Reapers coming in as the top seed, CW looking to dethrone them. Do you think this is the draft that CW needed in order to overthrow top team here in the league?
I think it's a draft that they can maybe catch them off guard. Like Galio can come in if Blitzcrank does his spacing right in lane. You know, he can sort of sit behind now. Like, he doesn't have to be the guy that's always up front taking the damage, and then all of a sudden you're starting to fight off at half health. He could also basically negate Galio's engage by when Galio comes in and tries to stun up and taunt, he can pull him into the turret, or basically save his Xayah from just getting crapped on. So I really do like it. I think that they can probably pull out some spicy roams with the Blitzcrank. I think that they can really turn momentum and create their own momentum and push the vision and push the tempo of the game. And getting picks before objectives, especially in Gladiator, is absolutely paramount, and I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Oh, and again, these are the kind of drafts that I like, where they pull something that is a bit unorthodox. If it is in fact Volibear top, he is way more popular as a jungler right now. Blitzcrank obviously not the most meta support, especially if you end up pulling like a Galio, you're looking to pull one of the squishies here, because I feel like if you pull the Darius, Wukong, or Galio, it's just a free dash you're giving to the enemy team, right? So definitely is a bit of a curious start. I'm interested to see if we do have any level 1 shenanigans. Obviously, Blitzcrank is the most popular champion for it. But, so, now, taking all of this into account, I'm interested to hear, you know this league way more than I do. What is your prediction? Who takes game 1 here and puts themselves on the leading foot here in the series?
Well, I think that Reapers obviously just have a more standard, easier to operate draft. But I'm really pulling for CBW here. I really like the fact that they went out, first picking Aurora, pulling up the Blitzcrank with the B5 pick. I'm really excited to see this going, and that's who I got. So what about you?
I mean, again, I have to go primarily on drafts. I am both a Wukong and a Volibear lover, but I personally just do not like Darius, so if you're going for Reapers, I'm gonna back up CBW here. I have the faith that they can pull it off. I like this draft that they cooked up. I mean, Xayah super safe, especially into a dive comp that is showing on the other team. Volibear, Udyr, immortal champions if they could get the proper spells off in time. Blitzcrank is a bit of spice. I'm gonna go with them. I like their drafts just a little bit better. I do agree that Reapers have probably an easier one to execute, but we will see if CBW can pull it off here. We are gonna go to a quick break here before we hop into the game. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with game 1 action right after this.
Minions have spawned.
Welcome everybody back to Gladiator League. We are here, Reapers, CBW, Game 1 action. Fel, how you doing? Are you excited for this draft as much as I am?
I am.
Oh,
I'm a little sad that there wasn't an invade coming out from CBW. Looks like both teams opted up for the 5-point, but yes, I'm very excited to get into this. I'm excited to see if CBW has the formula to, take one, maybe even steal, game one from so we're getting into it. Looks like everything's sort of going kind of standard. Junglers both have towards the top side, so vision was placed at least a little bit, so I don't have too much information on where they are.
Yeah, that minion got pulled for sure. But also we need to note it is not the Volibear top. It is indeed going to be Volibear jungle, and then throwing the Udyr into the top lane. So I'm excited to see if Typhoon does decide to go the new Trinity Force build that has really been popular on Volibear lately. It is performing so much better than his Cosmic Drive build, so I'm excited to see if that is the angle that they're going for. Does have the lethal tempo, so obviously looking to skirmish on this Volibear pick. So we see some trading going on here early.
I like that ward.
Got a ward down. As you can see now, the Wukong is on that top side, as is the Volibear, pathing towards the same side. Might see an exciting 2v2 here in a little bit.
We might, I do have one question. Not super well versed on Darius. I don't play him very much. Press the attack. Is that a mistake, or is that coming around right now?
Well, first of all, I think the big okay, here we go. We got a bit of a fight here in the top lane. The Udyr does have his passive ready. He can all of a sudden get a crap ton of heal aid if he wants to, but does just walk away. Obviously, fighting a bigger wave is going to be more difficult, and does get the very simple push in. But as I was saying, press the attack is definitely not standard. As Darius, you want to adapt the passive, which typically leads to longer fights, and then the Conqueror just gets so much value. You normally don't want short burst trades as Darius because you won't be able to stack your passive effectively, and you won't be able to use your champion to its full potential. So definitely a bit of a curious decision. Maybe he is just looking for those shorter trades. I'm not sure. You'll have to see. And also, not showing Ghost on Darius will not have that same kill pressure. But we can see Typhoon already getting double crabs here, so getting a lead in jungle is going to be huge. Might look for a play here bot as we have Spaghetti. Yeah, diving in, does get the double taunt off, but forward, drop the ball in there, will be able to snag that first blood. Another flash from Spaghetti as well to get himself to safety. But overall, yes, it did get the flash and barrier from the ADC, but it don't matter if yours goes down in the process. First blood, CBW.
Yeah, I really, really like that play. Volibear just, I would have liked to see Reapers maybe start opposite. You know, it was not Volibear knowing how slow he was. But yeah, really, really well done by Typhoon to, you know, make that call and go. And just pull the trigger on it. So really, really good early play here from CBW. This is what they're going to need to sort of put that seed of doubt into Reapers and make them think twice about going too over.
Sorry, you caught me in the middle of the water, but all right, here we go. We got the pull from Darius, forces the flash out of Irameshi, and he's going to be able to walk away. Does not have that 5-stack lead on him, but you know, this is what Darius is good at. He is down in CS, but still able to get those very effective trades whenever he does manage to land that E. So very well done here by Loves Panda in order to get that pull back. Hoping to get the starting real quick, but here we go. We got another fight in the mid lane. Does get the seismic shoved back. And Toastfish just walking away. Does still have the flash. I don't think we saw what caused Baboot to use his own flash. Well, Toastfish didn't, but maybe just some trading there in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think it was prior to that, before Bagoot even got her first back, potentially. Just looking at the timer of it, I know she did get caught under the turret on accident there, and Urameshi without the flash, and Kagran's coming up here on the Wukong, and he's going to try to get this. Loves Panda also has the level 6, so something to do.
And does have the flash. There we go. Pops it now. Does get the slow off, but now the unstoppable coming from the Udyr. But the ult is there. The shield. Will that be enough to save him? The bleed is on, but I think it's only 4, and so it is not going to be enough, as we know that that one passive proc is enough to turn like you know, Darius's bleed from a nosebleed into like a Mortal Kombat finisher. So like, definitely if he didn't get one more auto off, I think that would have been enough. But here we go. We have a fight over the Scuttle Trap, the most important objective on the map. The smite comes through, and it's going to the Wukong who gets it.
Yeah, and that's just a little, you know, just your cap over on that one. You know, when you miss the first smite battle, you're going to miss the second one or third one. All you have to do is just make sure to stay on top of these now, and that could be in the back of his head where he's like, okay, I got this mental game now. I love the little games that junglers can play with each other when it comes to this kind of thing. So we'll see if that turns into something later on. We're going to take a look at this kill mid.
There was a play mid here. Here we go. I do not know who got it, but we will see here. The flash for it's Toastfish with the flash forward. Again, you gotta pay attention to those timers, everybody. Well, as soon as you hit level 6, just dive in. Has the advantage there and does manage to get the kill. Makes it 2-0 here for CBW with a brilliant solo kill there by Toastfish. We are in a pause here. So as we wait for news on that, so as we look at the game right now, you know, 2-0. They have about almost 1,000 gold ahead. CBW maybe putting in a really strong showing here in game 1 so far.
Yeah, and when you get a solo kill on your blue 1 priority, that's got to feel great. You know, Toastfish plays that almost perfectly. The flash was already blown, and then once you're on a sort of immobile champ like Talia, and you're going into Aurora, who does dash, so you do have a little bit of a counter there, but when she uses her ult, she just teleports. It's not really a dash, so there was no extra damage coming out from the stones for her, and so really, really good play, heads up from Toastfish. Still has his flash, gets a solo kill, and like I said, you put that sort of agency into somebody and you give them the B1 cryo pick, you want to make sure it works, and so far it is working out really, really well for CBW.
Yeah, and again, Toastfish, you know, getting that flash early on. We did not see exactly how it happened, but obviously, if the lane is going that well, you know, you get the flash off early, keeping that timer in mind. As you can see, the flash timer is almost back, so Toastfish taking full advantage of that. Really, really well played, and definitely going to be, I don't think he even ended up using the flash. I think that was just his ultimate dash. So yeah, so still has the flash, is definitely going to be looking for perhaps another play later on when he gets that ultimate back, because even Talia, even if she has ults, that's not an escape tool. That's a let's engage or robe tool. So definitely is still, you know, you always have to keep that in mind when you do not have a combat ultimate. Like Talia, it is a champion. Like, yeah, great roaming ultimate. Same with Galio. Yeah, it's a great roaming ultimate, but you cannot use it in a 1v1 duel. So definitely need to keep that in mind.
Yeah, and I know you probably didn't want to send Galio into an Aurora here, but this may make them, you know, second guess their pick towards later in the game. If Aurora can keep this pressure up, and you know, as she starts to get items, she already has her tier 2 boots. As she starts to get items and she starts to just like delete people, you know, like you were saying in the draft, like Wukong kind of susceptible to burst magic damage, you know, early on, and then the other side of this too is that Galio as a support is not going to have that innate tankness that he normally does coming out of the mid lane, coming out of top, or if you're extra spicy and you're one of those Galio jungler levers, he's not going to be able to stand a lot of stuff when he's as well. PLR, you know they're behind, picking up even though they're behind, still making the good plays that they need to make.
Yep, still about 1,000 gold down. Definitely not what you want in the early game. We just have a bit of a pause delay here. Hopefully it sorts itself out here in a second. But yeah, so definitely not where you want to be in the early game, especially, you know, I always find way more pressure on the team that's expected to win. You know, Reaper's coming in as the #1 seed. They have to prove that they deserve to be at the top, right? So definitely need to you know, show what they got here. They're down, but definitely not out. So you see now the drums have been started up by CBW, and Love Panda is looking. You have 3 here. You're coming down also, though, and Dr. perfectly timed by the Tribune. See what they're having played as the third kill goes down. Instead, Love Panda picking up the kill onto the is running, and it's actually trying to find a side to take out the Galio. Spaghetti goes down. Love Panda. Oh, beautiful hook there. Love Panda will be going down, but it's a triple kill for the Darius. And he gets up 3, and actually the Wukong dives back in. But again, you are not a very good into magic damage, as he is chunked pretty hard. The TP comes through from the goop, but it's much too late. I believe overall that was a 3. I think there were 4 people left that fight, and 3 died on each side.
Yeah, and you know, the Udyr canceling out the Galio ult here just spent so much time on flipping things back. Nothing to do with Darius, but as you see, right away to make sure the factor in this. I know they had a little bit better of an engage on the side of still being able to turn this around and still get the 2, and then this is where the Blitzcrank kind of makes sense, right? Like, he ends up paying for it, but what a great free drugs for Reapers if he doesn't make that play. So far, things are working out. W, but I do believe that all 3 of the
Here we go, Excel now in a bit of a 1v1, and the support's coming back and BBC and just managed to get away in time, but obviously Spaghetti in that support role is not going to Flash. So, yeah, I don't think he was low enough for that to really make a lot of sense, but, you know, Excel, I appreciate, you know, trying to make a play here.
Yeah, this is really good, you know, just waiting on it, had all his feathers sitting out there, walked into that, you know, but every once in a while, you know, you're going to have to get lucky. You're not just going to have to get just good. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. As, you know, Spaghetti making sure that XL doesn't get back here. They want to keep this bot lane in their state. Already in the game has the potential to just take over when she gets around 4 items. So.
Okay, Typhoon is going to be spotted on that ward. Hops does not have or open. Flash forward is something, but that is what the Blitzcrank is for. Rocky picks up that kill onto Hops, and that is going to be the 6th kill picked up with the CW.
Yeah, this Blitzcrank is putting in work now. That's 3 amazing, ways that he's basically created for himself and his team now. He does get the kill. You would have liked to have seen that.
Back off!
Your support here.
Oh, gosh, Panda, not again. He has only 4 stacks on the Udyr, and it's not going to be enough. That bleed, the difference between 4 stacks and 5 stacks on that bleed is insane. So, trying to flash forward to get that last one with the W. Unfortunately, has completed stride breaker already, but here we go. The Goose there's no burn items on Toast because he is going to be able to get out of it, but it does cost the Galio ultimate. That very, very crucial global is going to be down here in order to save his mid laner.
Yeah, and at the same time, Toastfish has both of these side brushes warded up. Now, we see Wukong sneaking over on the bot side here, but he's not going to be able to see himself.
Yeah, oh, it is going to be enough! I spoke too soon! Now it's a big two people who heal quite a bit, and Typhoon, the big bear, is going to slam his fist onto the Darius's head and take the 1-for-1.
Yeah, and I think if you're Urameshi, when you go and preview this bot and you're looking at it, I don't have much time to talk, so I'll make this quick. As you're going into,
we're getting back into another fight.
You're really going to be kicking yourself in the head for walking back into that. Stifle this almost guaranteed dive here. So it looks like they are going to give this 3rd objective over. And it looks like they're going to turrets here. You give the first 2 dragons over. Are you planning on taking the next 4, or do you sort of
you're gonna have to watch the Udyr here. He does have those 5 stacks on him finally, so like, walking back into the queue, that is gives him the heal, but unfortunately again, Volibear is an insane duelist as well, just like Darius is, but has the edge there in that fight and will come out on top before he can heal back up. It does look like he is going to the turning no, he's not. The Wukong's item. Unfortunately, he did go for the Cosmic Drive, not the Trinity Force on that Volibear, but is 4-1 and 2, very, very strong no matter what. We will have to see if he is able to make those things here from here on out.
Yeah, and I think that CBW right now, they have 2 win cons that are ahead, right? You have Josiah on the bot side, but sort of sitting in the middle, along with Hops on the Yunara, but absolutely creating.
We are getting CP as well. Love Panda can stall long enough. It looks like no rolling there, right back in. Ball there, no flash. Doesn't have to do the ult. Get out with here to flash forward. From the roof, but now Toastfish is here. The Aurora is making work. But dude, might not be able to escape this. 5 stacks. And then the flash forward actually is going to be enough. It's a triple kill for here. You guys drive with the counter engage for counter engage, and that's going to be a huge fight for CBW.
Shades of punishment.
Oh my gosh, the room from Toastfish to follow up the Bagfoot on the Talia was perfect timing. And then just a little bit overzealous from Kagran on this Wukong, thinking that he can get the kill on the Urameshi, but that slow bleed from the name of it right now. Prior to the Andrews, the slow bleed, just getting all of those kills, and then just overcommit. Urameshi just barely gets away with all of this. And then they just had the wherewithal to,
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
get around it.
The flash deaths are always so sad to see. Because you always assume it's just like a panic. Oh no, I'm going to die. flash. The Galio might be enough to get enough, and now Typhoon, the flash for today isn't going to be enough. The last auto does not land, so that Galio pulling out all the stops to make his escape, but will indeed do so.
Yeah, but this is going to be a more than likely free power. Stomp on this power. So that's tier 1 mid. Looks like they're probably here and then use the rift to maybe get 1 or 2.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Urameshi is aware of it and smartly does back up. Turrets, you know, they've already they don't really care about the top one right now. So yeah, very smart. And does get the charge up, and now Rocky is there with the hook. Effectively, with a good decoy will make sure that the Wukong gets away.
Good rope. You know what's happening. You
Red team's turret
play
has been
really
destroyed.
telegraphed. Urameshi with the very underrated ward.
Can we just mention that there's still 3 people steamrolling the top lane, by the way? They did not run that first round. They might even take 3 here. Yeah, you guys made across that play, but cost you 2 towers to do it.
Yeah, so 2 for 2, and damage tier 2 for the side of CBW, but now they just have to see if they can get out of it.
And Reapers do have all of the neutral objectives, I believe. They grab the Rift Herald, they have all 3 grubs, they have the first 2 dragons, so we do have to keep that in mind. Oh, it's the flash forward. Panda is deciding to, spice things up a little bit. Does get the flash out of Rocky as well, but I honestly think Flash is more useful on Darius. Maybe I'm wrong because Blitz Commander can make plays, but now Urameshi is looking for now. And I can get the heal off. It does now have 5 stacks on that Udyr, and they do decide to back off.
Yeah, I think a smart play. I think it's a little bit overzealous, and all you have is again is a Shrine Breaker. Darius Panda's been playing it really well, stacking issues to heal and just keeping himself in all of these fights. So, good job by Urameshi. Dragon. Infernal Dragon.
Infernal Soul, I do like the extra damage, but I always find it's not like a in my opinion. It is still very powerful. All the souls are powerful, but oh, he's the Cloud Soul. Sorry, you baited me.
Oh, it's it.
In favor, make a screen, let's double play. And the CBW are just wiped off the map. And this is just going to come to support. They're going to put themselves on soul points. And what a fight coming out from Reapers.
Yeah, Panda getting all the resets. Fight looked like it was going very well. And even the Gallo was sort of stated, but then Excel here on the series melee for some weird reason.
Oh yeah. The Zaya does go a little bit. He has to use the flash to get away, and then runs back in. Oh yeah. I think trying to overchase on the Wukong, not seeing the Darius come up from the river, and that's definitely going to be a bit rough here for the side of CBW. But yeah, you baited me with the Infernal Soul. I went on that whole draft about Infernal Soul. We didn't have a single Infernal Dragon this game. But anyway, Cloud Soul, weirdly, I believe Cloud Soul has the highest win rate out of any soul. Just because when people use their ultimates to engage, just the movement speed is just so beneficial.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at it on the side of I do worry that they're going to be paying way too much attention to either getting a hook or disengage themselves from the Wukong. That in that last fight, and Hops on this Talia and were literally from the outside and were completely untouched that entire time. It's going to be interesting to see how well CBW can come back from that and learn on the fly from that fight what they can and cannot do.
Yeah, and the gold is even. They are not behind, but again, with all of these objectives now on Reaper's side, I think it's just going to be an uphill battle. Just based on the stats. How do you kill this Darius? If you're on the side of CBW, if he manages to get one single reset, I feel like the game's over. He can stack Noxie and Might on every single person that he hits with his Q or any auto. It's just going to be so brutal. As my favorite part of every single game, it's the Otacon dance. Everyone dropping vision, losing the vision, re-dropping the vision. As here we go. This is just going to be what the next 5 minutes of this game are until the fight breaks out.
And I think that CBW might be giving this because I had the back to the kick. Is it either going to be a field fighter or
and Otacon brings so much. Otacon brings so much of your stats that usually the team that starts off the fight will lose. Oh, they might look up the Darius here. Oh, I thought that was on top of each other. The team does this, but now here's the Galio all the way from But here we go. Darius is doing the Darius thing. 3 is not enough to stop this baller. It's a triple kill picked up for Love Panda.
Yeah, and I would have liked to have seen when he made the call to go after Darius teleported. Fish would have just hopped over the wall and was just Aura. Instead, she ends up staying over on the top, and you're basically playing 3 or 2 versus a nucleic team fight on the side.
Never good to run from your problem.
Yeah, watch it.
Let's take another look. Here again, they do not have the damage at this point to take out the Darius. He gets 5 stack of one-shots. The Zaya, yeah, you can take out the Galio, but like Darius is just ripping your whole team apart with that hoop of his. And just, I do not see a way to kill him. He has 2 items, Sterax. That's just enough to keep him immortal. Again, Darius is doing Darius things. Man, it is. If he gets 5 stacks on anybody, it just makes the fight so hard for the rest of the team.
Yeah, he does, and he's holding his ultimate to really just wait it out until he gets the execution on it, and then it's just basically one. So quick, just not enough. The series and the Aegis of the Legion, that's not enough on clear to deal with 5 stacks of Darius and all the true damage that's coming out. So they're going to have to sort of slow this down and stop fighting. Then if you do that, you're giving up the cloud.
Red team's turret
which,
has
as
been
you
destroyed.
Yeah, and there's another thing that I really don't like about this Volibear build and why I think the Trinity Force would have been better. If you look on the side of Reapers, they have 3 different Earth Treads because, of course they do. When you take a triple AD top lane, it's going to happen like this. The green does have to make a getaway. Darius, though, is so scary. Can't stop up. And it's going to be the Wukong with 50% kill onto Rocky. And that likely means that it's just a free soul going over to the side of Reapers. They picked up every single objective so far in this game.
Yeah, and I think that on the side of the top laner, without teleport pushing in, getting a free tier 2, just kind of give this one away. Like, make the decision. If the decision is to fight the soul, then you not. Then take the tier 2 and try to get pick somewhere else. A little bit of bad macro decision overall communication-wise from the team, but they're keeping themselves in there with this hurt. The gold is now, even though it feels like Reapers are just so far ahead.
Yeah, you do have to consider the stats from Otacon, the stats from all of the dragons, but one rarity you don't see too often, 100% kill participation on your top laner. 11, 3, and 3 has been involved in all 14 kills that his team has, with Darius putting the team on his back, making sure that he gets them there to the end.
Yeah, this is actually really impressive from Panda. Somebody that was getting stuff sort of like sitting on top of him to pull him in and force the flash. Ever since that last play on the top lane under the tower, Urameshi has basically been on the back foot this entire time.
Alright, here we go. We're looking for another fight here. The taunt is just shy. Time to escape. extra. Meshi gets the slow off. But again, they just now have no vision set up in this river, and Baron is on the menu here. It's only 25 minutes, but, you know, Reapers are feeling strong enough that they can pressure this. Look at all the vision that they have set up. They'll know every angle.
CBW very strong.
All right, down to 4K. On the Baron, yeah, the Wukong is back doing that. Darius still firing in the enemy team. That is going to be a 3-for-1. They did manage to take out Hops, but that's not going to be enough to deter the might that is Elegy Reaper.
Problems should be broken
This
up
is
into
just
little
the
pieces.
Talia ult to start this off is just such a mind game. You're just like, yeah, it makes so much sense when you think about it, but it just did so much.
Oh, they did manage to get one more typhoon. What the able to do? The Wukong dies back in. He's very low and actually does die as Toastfish does manage to get that Q off in time. And now it's just a full retreat here for the side of the Reapers as they maybe dug a bit too far.
Yeah, I think so, but it's not that big. You only lost one, you know. No reasonably important. Again, Rainbow with the base. You have a free tier 2 on both of these. The top lane from the Rift Herald playing here. That top so you're primed, you're ready for a 4-1. One thing that I would have liked to have seen them do is maybe soak up all of the CBW's jungle, because Typhoon and Excel, or whoever ends up going to the blue side to take this, is going to be able to come back a little bit, and that's a lot of gold left on the map.
And also, you know, when you pick up Navori for Volibear, you do not thrive in team fights. That is a skirmishing item. You want those, you know, 2v2s, 3v3s, you know, maybe look for a pick, look for small fights inside of the support objective, because with an item that's good, you get popped as Volibear. That's how it works. You do not have enough time to get your second W off, to get your shield up, in order to, you know, provide that damage. So, you know, going to these 5v5 team fights with this item, again, that's why he was thriving in the beginning, you know, because he was able to, you know, have those smaller scale fights and with not as much damage focused on the Volibear like that. You can obviously pop those cooldowns insanely quickly and get the full value from that item. So I think maybe going that direction is not a bit very effective for but here we go. Good sideways shot. The Udyr knocked back, doesn't flat, and the power W on the next tier 2 gets out. That turtle stance coming in clutch here. We do have the Wukong on the flank, but now with just one minion, they do back off slightly. They are still trying to fight.
Yeah, they get this one for free, and now Typhoon get caught up, but now that the second wave is here, there's
Your team's turret has
tiny slow push coming in from the top. Minions are going to catch it, so who knows if they're going to be able to get it. But this looks like they're going to pull off now. You can see that Elder Dragon is forming in a minute. I would assume we're either going to see Death Rush set up or jump into the Elder.
We will have to see. I feel like, you know, Reapers are just so far ahead right now. They can do whatever they'd like. Set up. Again, this is their game to lose at this point. They have control of the map. They have control over the objectives. They have the vision. It is up to them to make sure that nothing is caught out like Baby Bagoon did, and now he's stunned up. Typhoon does force the flash, but now he's looking to the Wukong. Do manage to chunk that down to half, but now they might be looking on Toastfish. Spaghetti was looking for something, but does manage to get away. Obviously that vision again, still fully controlled here for the side of Reapers. They do retreat back to the Elder Dragon, who is making his grand entrance into the pit right now. This is going to be a tough angle here for CBW. We'll have to see what Witawally can do. But now here we go. Here on that and already 2 are down. Already as the Courier will fall. The executioner has arrived. Darius is marching down with the remainder of his team, and it's full 5 forces here. But you get pulled back to your doom, and that is going to spell disaster and a game 1 victory here from side of Reaper.
Where they had all of the saying, CBW sitting on this right there, and as Reaper just cleared it out there, just backing up, knowing that their best, strongest player was still top pushing in that tier 2. Worst case scenario, they have to just back out and they get a free tier 2 and then a free tier 3. So really, really well done on the macro. I love the fact that they weren't just trying to piss fight all over the place. They weren't just trying to shove and just do chaotic plays. They had really, really good 44k guns on the players. Absolutely insane.
That is some crazy numbers there. Wow, we just lost it, but 44k on the Darius. That is crazy. I think the next closest was like 16 or something like that. So definitely loves Panda putting the team on his back here. Did he still manage to keep the full 100% kill participation? I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, you have to assume, right?
Yeah, because I think he had the triple in that last fight. So, yeah.
24. No, he missed 2. He missed 2.
Okay.
So I think still insanely close. What a game coming out from Loves Panda. Definitely gets the MVP on my book, and definitely have to still give a shout out to Toastfish. I think Toastfish played almost as well as he could have in a game like that. Won his lane, got a solo kill in mid lane, which is super rare in competitive. Definitely have to tip your hat to just well played to CBW. They did really well in the early game, but just team fights were better executed by Elegy Reapers there in the second half of the game.
Yeah, they definitely were. And, that's another thing that, is a characteristic of your team and your cohesion is when, you could be down 3-4-0 and then get the first dragon and then get the grubs, so they never really let the small lead that CBW took in the beginning to really affect their game plan. They stuck with it. They knew what they had to do. They weathered a little bit of a storm with the weird pick and the good ganks over by Typhoon on the Volibear. But yeah, as you were saying during the game, real quick, the itemization choices by Volibear, by Typhoon on the Volibear, and a couple of the other ones. Also, I want to see excel on a champion that is an auto attack mainly, because his Xayah positioning was not as good. So putting him on something like an Ashe or just anything, Caitlyn, MF, something like that, I think would serve them a lot better in game 2.
Mm-hmm. Definitely some bright spots there for CBW, especially in that early game. I think they took control of the lanes, but again, not focusing on those objectives, I think came to bite them later on in the game. Definitely going to hopefully see some improvements from them, but again, those skirmishes were really well fought by them, and we definitely have to give them credit for that. But again, Reapers just coming through in the latter half of the game. We are going to be going to a quick break here, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more action for you just after this, so stick around.
like do 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 like do 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 crazy oh 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 crazy oh 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 crazy crazy oh oh crazy oh 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 crazy do 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 crazy do 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 crazy do 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 crazy do 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 crazy crazy do do like do 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 like do 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 crazy oh do do like do 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 like do 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 crazy oh
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back. We got some Game 2 action here in the Gladiator League. Reapers taking a very, very convincing team fight-oriented win in game number 1. Obviously, that early game was a little bit dicey, but they got the objectives. They played the team fights almost perfectly. The Darius was doing what Darius does, dropping that axe on as many people as possible. What needs to happen differently for CBW here in game 2 in order to make sure that they come out with hopefully a series time win?
So I think the same thing has to happen for both teams. I think both of them have to realize, okay, we're back to 0-0. I think there's a lot of the early game, the first 10 minutes of that game that Reapers could look at and really take home with them and say, okay, we need to do this better. We need to realize that when their jungler has, a faster clear, we can't be on the same side. Right? Typhoon was out jungling Kagrin like really, really well the first 10 minutes. But CBW needs to take away that just because they get an early lead doesn't mean that they can just sit back and allow Reapers to just take all the neutral objectives. The first 15 minutes of this game was a tale of two sides. One was playing a macro game, the other side was just playing gang. And, get a small gold lead, but giving away all the free stats.
Exactly, and are some adjustments to the early bans here, as it's actually Nico Trundle and Shen taken now, while we got Warwick, Braum, and Rise on the other side. They are swapping. It is CBW that did pick red, so obviously going for that counter pick is very, very important for them, as it's Zinzao, first picked here for the side of Reapers, and it's going to be another safe ADC. They apparently want to stick with, that theme of staying safe with the Xayah in game 1. They picked the Sivir in game 2, probably, in my opinion, the second safest ADC in the game. And it's Jax as well. Jax, insanely good jungler right now. Can be flexed to the top as well. Twitch Alistar picked up on the other side.
Yeah, and safe is one thing, but the problem with Xayah wasn't just the fact that she wasn't being safe. Excel wasn't doing anything in these fights. You had Hops doing all this damage along with the Talia on the outside of all these fights. Sivir has to get even closer than Xayah does, and you only have one spell shield, so I really don't like the pick. I understand if you're playing for tempo and you want to push the lanes and all that stuff, but when it comes to the team fights, that's where CBW was lacking. I would have rather seen something with maybe some engage like an Ashe or a Jhin or something where you could play, innately safe and not have to deal with being within melee range of a fed top laner again. So I don't know. I don't like the pick. Hopefully they prove me wrong. But we see the Seraphine being banned out, the Hui and Victor being banned out by CBW.
Yep, those are two just very, very safe mid laners. Annie, obviously very simple. Very simplified. You know when she has stun. You know her engage timers. It's very, very easy to play around your Annie. So definitely a smart pick. When the chips are down, definitely want to go back to that simple, easy to execute sort of comps. Renata is probably one of my favorite supports. I love her design. I really, really like this champion. That ultimate is one of the most terrifying things in the game for me. Obviously very slow moving. You definitely want to combine that with something, and I'm a little worried that CBW doesn't really have something alongside that Renata ultimate, because it is so slow moving, very easy to dodge if you see it coming, and if you don't have something to lock you down, then she has a free way to just get that off. Gnar, kind of can do that, but that's a very situational situational stun. Like I feel like something like a Thorn may have been better, or like Malphite has been banned, but like that sort of idea I think would have helped them. But yeah, Alistar, easy counter into the Sivir. Definitely some interesting picks here. Olaf, again, just completely negates that Renata ultimate and every other form of CC on the other side.
Yeah, and this is going to be another tale of Panda just getting into the backline and just wrecking havoc. And as you said, like all of these stuns, all of this lockdown, the Renata ult, all of it's going to be basically negated by him, and he's going to be able to do whatever he wants. And so the whole team fight focus is going to have to go back to peeling for the Sivir, who isn't going to be able to do anything again. I do like the fact that they went with the Anti-Jax, and then paired that with the Renata. One thing that we do see, especially in these leagues, is that Renata doesn't put the W on the right person, or saves it for too long, doesn't know that it's like a 7-second and most team fights are over by then. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on Rocky here to really perform on this Renata and really keep whoever the Fed member is of their team safe and get the reset from her W.
Absolutely. And I had a solo queue game the other day. I was playing Morgana jungle. I was into Olaf jungle with a Zillion mid lane. Oh my god, it was the worst. I have no words for that game. You cannot kill Olaf. As Morgana, my whole thing was CC, and like, he's sped up by Zillion. Even if you get him down, Zillion just revives him, and then he ults and just runs you down. Oh my god, I hated it. So I have some issues with Olaf just as a concept. Just I liked his ult before because you knew it would run out. If Olaf could get the ball rolling, you will not stop him. He can keep that ult going forever. So I really hate that change, but I see why it was necessary for the champion to be like any sort of relevance. But definitely a very, very good pick. When you're into like the Jax, who has a very, very telegraphed stun, Annie, you'll know how many stacks she has. The Renata ultimate is insanely slow. You should be able to pop that ultimate in time. Is likely going to struggle a little bit into the Gnar lane. Obviously, Olaf has no gap closers other than, throwing his axe at you and hoping that you're slower than him. So, the Gnar should be able to poke him down and hopefully go for the all-in when he gets whittled down enough. But of course, that passive from Olaf will keep him deceptively tanky even at low health. So definitely going to be the tough angle for him there. So do you have any final thoughts, any predictions before we head to a break here before game 2?
Final thoughts, instead of the Alistar, I would have liked something else. I don't know about pairing that one with Twitch. I think Leona would have done a better job. Procs are passive like instantaneously. But I do think that Reapers has a much easier draft. Again, to just use, you have the global from TF, you have the Olaf who's going to be able to get into the back, and then once again, this Sivir is just going to be negated in all of these team fights. There's so much spacing on the side of Reapers, plus the Xin Shao ult to block all their damage. I think that CBW has a huge uphill battle to climb here with their draft. I would have rather have seen the Jax go top and then maybe like, I don't know, Mummy or Sejuani or something for the jungle, so that they really could have the lockdown and then, some sort of peel, somebody to stand in front of this Olaf. But, we've seen crazy things before. Hopefully CBW has got what they wanted and they're able to execute this. And if Urameshi on this Gnar gets ahead, that could be really, really bad because the worst thing that Olaf can be is squishy and behind.
I think a Mumu would have been really, really good if they didn't have Olaf, because that, like, if a Mumu bandage tosses onto an Olaf, he will have that ult forever, because a Mumu cannot escape at that point. He has no way to get out. He has no, and he will just sit there and keep taking axes to the face, and that ult will just go forever. So I think it would have been a really, really good angle if that Olaf had not been picked. But I think the reason also behind the Alistar is it's Sivir's #1 counter, because she can't spell shield both the headbutt and the slam down. So that is the whole idea behind it. So you will at least get one form of CC onto the Sivir, and that's the whole idea there. But as the predictions have been made, we are going to be going into a quick break. So stay tuned. We'll be back as soon as we can with Game 2 action. Titan Gladiator League is back with some
Welcome
Game
to
2 action
Summoner's
here.
Rift.
CBW is looking to hopefully tie up this series and force a Game 3 against the top team in the league. Meanwhile, Reapers
30
are looking to
seconds.
prove that Game 1 was not a mistake, but the handshake is there. Spaghetti, already stunned up, might have to burn the flash in order to get away, and does indeed do so. Is chunked to half as well, but already getting some leads here in CBW in the early game, not too shabby.
No, it's not. Really good play. The blind handshake was actually really good there. I really enjoy when you just send that out. I actually kind of wish that on the last game he had done that with the blitzcrank. There was a couple times where some blind cues would have really helped the team fight. So hopefully he learned from that. And the CBW, their early game was not the problem. Their early game decisions after making good plays was. So I'm really hoping now that we get this as Panda hitting the axes on the Urameshi. This is gonna be oof.
Oh no, Loves Panda has a better level 1 than Urameshi because of those axe resets. Oh, but he misses the second one. So that means Urameshi will likely be able to just walk out of here. But is chugged to just over under a quarter. Already has to pop that potion. That might just be a free lane for Loves Panda. That level 1 from Olaf cannot be underestimated. It is all in having that dash that makes Nar strong in this lane.
Yeah, and I think it could be, but he did bring fleet, as we've seen with a lot of Nars lately. Bringing the fleet into a lane like this, you are going to be able to get some free sustain. So between that and the Doran's Blade should be good, especially now that the Doran's Blade actually procs with abilities as well. It's any damage that you do, not just lifesteal. So should be good, but the level 2 coming out from the bot lane, and Rocky and Excel doing the right thing and getting back, realizing their position.
Yeah, as we see, Urameshi already back up to half health. I know they just nerfed sustain in top lane, but still, that is pretty ridiculous. As, again, just a really good trade there by Panda, but it's the aftermath there, getting those extra autos off here from Urameshi that just evens up the lane, and finally, Love Panda having to pop that potion as the Mega Gnar comes out, but at level 2, not that intimidating yet.
No, it's not. And once you miss that stun, he's gonna get some free damage here. Yeah, this is one of those really frustrating.
Oh, but here we go. We got a little bit of action here in the mid lane. Toastfish does pop the flash. Kagrin tried to follow up, but again, Toastfish more than a quarter health. I think was fine there. Just getting the flash would have been enough, but Kagrin maybe seeing a little bit of red, looking for something a bit more, but unable to get it.
Yeah, I think. Never mind.
Oh, here we go, top lane. That last axe does miss. And again, both of these top laners are just fighting constantly. Loves Panda, no mana, no health, no teleport. So Urameshi might be looking to just get a huge, does get the back off. Will be able to build up a slow push here because, like I said, he should have done in the last game with the Darius. Loves Panda did go Ghost, so doesn't fully get that push in and might actually struggle because of it. I didn't see how many of the minions. Yeah, no, he might be able to build a freeze, build his own slow push. Urameshi just kind of has control of the lane right now.
Yeah, that's just kind of giving it up there just by trying to be a little bit too aggressive. It would have been nice if he would have just let the minions sort of like hit. Sometimes it's okay to give up a little bit of CS to make sure that that your lane opponent can't, and he probably would have had a better angle on that axe, as we do see Kagrin, after his first early gank, is looking at this bot side here too. Just
Mm.
and
Wards the already warded bush, but
Yeah. It's okay.
I know that it was coming up soon, but it looked funny for a second. The Kagrin is now looking for potentially a play onto Rocky, but did accidentally step out of that bush, so they are aware that the jungler is there, likely just to play safe and let this wave push in now.
Yeah, and he also kind of gave his position away when he hit the Scryer orb as well. So, you know, I like the aggressiveness and and the speed from Kagrin. This time he's not giving up both scuttles and everything. I like the fact that he went opposite of Typhoon this game, which is something that we had mentioned from the last game. So really, really well done. And if they're not falling behind and the team fighting is going to be just as strong, this could be really, really bad for CBW. So it'll be interesting
This is
to see
that
if they can pull out.
And this is that slow push that we were talking about, but he doesn't push it fast enough. And now he just froze the lane on himself. He needed to push that last wave in. That might have been a mistake here for Murameshi, but he is now Mega Gnar. Oh, I thought he was going to go onto the Xin Zhao, but decides not to. Has to get that wave pushed in if he does not want to struggle here. The wave is still pretty big. He should be... one big rock should be able to get the wave in here. There it is.
And it does.
Meanwhile, we have a bit of action here in the bot lane. Hops is dangerously low. Axel is there. The barrier is popping. The beautiful handshake from Rocky. The flash is there, but Axel will follow, and down goes Hops. Once again, it's CBW picking up first blood.
Really, really good job by Rocky here, landing the handshake on the Twitch, popping everything, and then Excel just keeping good spacing and keeping on top of the Twitch. So I didn't see what happened to make them go there, but I guess we'll see it now. Nope.
No, unfortunately, we won't be able to see the early
the
part, but just flashing the wall is just not going to be enough. And Axel, beautiful flash to follow up. Throws that pizza, orders a double cheese, and makes sure that that rat goes down. But here we go back in top lane. We have a bit of action here as well, as Urameshi does have that 6, but without the Mega Gnar, that doesn't really mean anything. Only level 5 on Love's Panda, but still doesn't have... Ghost did have to pop flash in whatever exchange happened in the top lane. And Urameshi, yeah, you lost level 1, but this is where that Gnar thrives, and he is really taking advantage of that.
Yeah, and Love's Panda is actually going to miss out on a cannon here too, so he's going to be stuck at level 5. Urameshi's going to have a free back here. He's going to be able to get it, but Reapers, once again, a good play is made top, and where are they? They're on the objective. They're controlling this game again. CBW with terrible vision here, not even realizing that they're losing the dragon, and this is so unfortunate if you're CBWs, and he's not going to be able to do enough to make up for that. So Typhoon is going to get some counter jungling in here, and he's going to get
and here we go, a little bit of a mid play here as Toastfish does get the stun onto Bagoot, but doesn't have a follow-up stun. Tibbers is kind of tower diving. I don't know what the bear is doing. Might want to try and save his mid laner here, as Spaghetti is just wailing on this Annie, and there we go, the flash from Kagrin, and Toastfish goes down as Typhoon does manage to steal the blue, but now does not have the flash, and here comes Spaghetti, and all of a sudden they may have bitten off more than they can chew, as that's 2 kills going over to the side of Elegy Reapers, as Toastfish is pushing a bit too far, and Typhoon, not taking that blue fast enough, and they pay for it.
Yeah, he was stepping over a vision ward. That's something, as a jungler, you always have to just think that there's a ward where there isn't one or whatever, and just a little bit too aggressive by Toastfish here. Almost got the kill on the TF, but then ends up paying for it. And then, yeah, Typhoon, they knew he was there. They make the call. Good axes by Panda, and the Ghost doesn't have flash, doesn't need it.
No, he does not. The perma slows are there with the Olaf axes. Again, he has no hard CC in itself, but if you are able to predict the way they're running and land your axes in the right way, the perma slows are just so dangerous, especially if you take approach velocity. I can't see Olaf's secondary, so I'm not entirely sure if that's the one he took, but it is so powerful on this champion because you land one axe, you are catching up to your prey there. But here we go, Kagrin. Once again, they're the ones doing the objectives, but now it's Urameshi does know that this is happening. The flash will snag the first one. The stun comes through from Toastfish. Urameshi just lands down with a slam, but that might actually cost him, as now he does have to flash away. The point and click stun won't land in time. Urameshi does make his escape, takes out the jungler, but that one grub did go over to the side of Reapers before he went down.
Yeah, and I'd really like to see a little bit better communication from the side of CBW. They really need to let their jungler know where he needs to be because he's on the bot side when the grubs are up. He's on the top side when the dragon's up. So it just seems like he's not on the same page. He's making good counter jungling, kind of gets caught there after the blue buff, but just off, not on the same page with the rest of his team. As Toastfish and Urameshi realize, hey, grubs are up, we should be checking this, and he's just on the bot side farming and counter jungling. So I would really like to see some more objective focus coming out of Typhoon.
He is on top side now, but again, all 3 grubs were taken. Kagrin just walked straight back to top lane and then took the grubs that he just died at. So like, again, you're 100% right. I think Typhoon needs to put a bit more focus on these objectives. It bit them really hard in the last game, and we can see if it happens again here. But Uramashi does have the Mega Gnar. Will he be able to survive here? Does get the double stun off, but now the CC immunity is there. Will they be able to tower dive? No, they will not. The Mega Gnar comes through. Does not have the flash, but does not need it. Does manage to make his escape.
Yeah, and really good heads up play by Kagrin there to just get there, knowing that he's there. It doesn't end up like getting anything, but now it's a wasted Gnar bar, right? Like, so now he's not going to have the Mega Gnar for the next iteration of fighting that they're going to have between Panda and Urameshi. So that's a huge bonus if you are Love's Panda, and I wouldn't doubt to see Kagrin coming back up here for a return gank.
Absolutely. When we definitely have to look at as well, 2 kills on each side. The next kill is going to be very crucial in getting those feats. As objective wise, again, it's leaning towards the Reapers as they've grabbed the first 2, but now here we go. Toastfish is down on the bot side. Spaghetti does he have enough? Yes, he does pop the ultimate, but again, the stuns are just so constant. But the Alistar ult is keeping him alive a lot longer than you would expect, as Hops is there as well. The Ignite, will that be enough to take him out? Yes, it will, and the CBW will be able to claim the feats of objectives. Hops is here, but with 4 members down here from CBW who will just have to back off. Twisted Fate will push this all the way into the tower, but unfortunately, this does mean that there will be a bit of a loss here for Hops.
Yeah, and this is just
we could also see live cam down there in the corner, as it looks like the junglers are fighting for control over these Krugs. Looks like Xin is just gonna escort Hops back to his turret. Hopefully he can get him a bit of CS here. Spaghetti is back with full health, does not have ult, but now Typhoon dives forward, and there is the Xin ultimate, the perfect headbutt from Spaghetti. Typhoon does have the Renata W on him, will get the reset to keep him alive, and Spaghetti doesn't have ult, and he will go down, but that is a big Renata play there, keeping his jungler alive for that much longer to make sure they get the double kill.
Yeah, and I love seeing that he used it on a prio target there, used it with time for him to just stay in there, and really good play. It's unfortunate that you trade 2 for 1 there, but hey, 2 for 1 is better than 1 for nothing, or 1 for 1 or whatever. So good heads up play by Rocky on this Renata. It's good to see that he is using the champ properly so far. A really good ult on the bot side earlier as well. And one thing that I was trying to say before we saw that replay was the vision control is not there, as we see the headbutt coming out and then just boom right there. You're basically wasting Hops' ult there while you're fighting this, and then getting the 2.
And also unfortunate for Elegy is that it was the Alistar that picked up that kill. Spaghetti getting that final slam unfortunately picks up the kill, and Hops does not get it. And we can see on the other side, Axel 2-0-1 has a 200 gold shutdown right now. Definitely a problem in game 1 is that Axel was not accelerated in any way whatsoever, right? So definitely a big improvement here, as Kagrin does not care that Typhoon is taking the Scuttle Crab, just dives in for the objective, and yet again, like, their mid laner is not here for this objective, and they're just ill prepared when the dragon spawns.
Right.
But they might actually look
3v4 here.
Yeah, they might look for a fight, as Annie is coming, but it'll be too late for the objective, but then I might look for the fight afterward. Spaghetti is the target. Here comes Typhoon. doesn't use the hop, so the stun will not land. Bagut does have that gold card ready. Hops is invisible, is looking for Excel, already down to half health, does have the Renata ult on him, but Kagrin is the first one to fall, and Hops is not in a place that he wants to be, has to flash the wall in order to escape. The shutdown is there as Excel will go down. It does go on to Hops as well, but now it's Bagut who's in trouble. The triple knockup from Spaghetti might save him, but it's not going to be enough. Does have to use the headbutt on Tibbers to make sure that bear stays away from him. It is going to be a 2-for-1. They do claim the dragon, but yet again, those early game skirmishes going the way of CBW.
Yeah, and at the same time, Urameshi just got a solo kill onto the Olaf, so really, really well done here. I do kind of wish that XL and Rocky were on the same page there. You know, the Savior Shield was placed on him, so he could have actually probably lived if he was dealing the damage. So I want to see a little bit better reaction out of there as we see this top lane here. Flash forward from Urameshi getting.
We're robbing Urameshi of his moment of glory, unfortunately. But again, we kind of expect that from the Nard. He's now 3-0 on this top lane. You know, again, this is why this Nard was picked. Yes, he lost level 1 with a little bit of careless positioning, but this is what you expect. He is now steamrolling this Olaf in the top lane. And again, what we said in draft is that if this Olaf falls behind, it would be such a good thing for CBW, because if Olaf is able to dodge all of their CC and he has a lead, that would spell disaster. But if his axes hit like feathers, it might be a storm that they can weather. So, unfortunately, okay, we will see the replay here. Just give us one moment, please, as we look at top lane. Also, there is a play on live down in the corners. We can see Hops is just managing to get away. The flash forward from Urameshi in this play does manage to snag him before the Mega Gnar pops. Does get that W, but here we go. Typhoon is under the turret for some reason, and down he goes. But that is, unfortunately, looks like it was the only casualty from this fight, as I'm not seeing any other deaths here. But the first turret was taken down at bot lane by Olaf, which I think means that the feats, once again, will go over to the Reapers. As yes, they dropped 3 kills early, but they grabbed the objectives, and they got the first turret.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. I thought that turret was already taken. They did a reset, so that's just weird. So, yeah, Reapers, once again, no matter how many bad plays are happening, they're still getting everything that they want out of these, and then Excel and Rocky are just giving a sweet leash over to Kagrin here.
Yeah, and Typhoon recalled instead of doing the objective. I didn't see what his health was. It could have been he could not do the objective, but you know, just they seem to just not have the same sort of prio on neutral objectives as Reapers do. And we can see it's down to now 1800 health. Kagrin is looking, and Sivir's already down. What are they fighting for? They don't have the juggler here. The spike comes through, and it's 2 free kills going over to the Reapers, and a shutdown, and Twitch is now accelerated.
Yeah, and so what ended up happening there was Hops was just coming over from while stealthed up, and just nobody saw him coming, so he got a free ult off onto Rocky and Excel there. So yeah, just getting caught out kind of there was just not a really, really good play, as we'll see here on the bot side of this skirmish.
Okay,
Hops comes in, Excel is half health. There's nothing you can do here, and
your
Excel
jungler's not here. Walk away, like yeah, man, that definitely is rough, but we'll have to see what they can do now to weather the storm. Again, first 4 objectives have gone over to the side of Elegy Reapers. They are just showing that yeah, we could win the early game. You could take all the kills that you want, but at the end of the day, it's the objectives that win the games.
Yeah, it is, and now that Sivir was 3-0, and now she's 3-2-2. So she's, it's going to be a really, really uphill battle for them now, especially now that Hops is online with the Yuntals and the tier 2 boots that are upgraded, and yeah, this is just going to be really, really hard for them to deal with here.
Toastfish going for the all-in. The gold card is here. Does have to use the stun onto the Tibbers in order to make sure that he escapes. The Tibbers does his teleporting magic in order to make sure that he keeps Annie safe. But it doesn't look like any summoners were spent by either one. So Annie just using that ultimate to make sure to get a good trade-off. Was potentially looking for the all-in, but did not manage to get it.
Yeah, no, when or, the fully stacked Rod of Ages, it's really, really hard to just burst him, especially when you go Malignance. The ultimate is gonna do some magic burn, or MR burn, but it's just not enough. You're gonna need at least another item or two, and you're gonna have TF not have his Zonias, which probably won't happen. So Toast Fist, even though they're ahead on this Annie, is gonna have a hard time, just 100 to nothing anybody with the exception of Hops.
I also think just Tibbers like is just the weakest of the three pets, but Maiden, Daisy, and Tibbers. But here we go. Spaghetti having to flash away. The Hops auto attack damage with the spray and pray is insanely strong as another objective going over. That's soul point yet again at 19 minutes. We're looking at a 24-minute soul here. They got Rift Herald, they got Grubs. Kagrin is just playing the objective game while, yes, Typhoon is getting kills for his team. At the end of the day, you're going to be potentially giving over yet another Cloud Soul and potentially the game here.
Yeah, and actually Reapers has done a really good job of actually sort of negating a lot of Typhoon's plays. Yes, he's been trying to give his team a lead and ganks and stuff, but they actually haven't caught as much. The one that really did was probably Annie's roam down to the bot. So Typhoon not as successfully active as he was in game one. He is power farming. He is stealing a lot of jungle, but we've seen him already twice pay the price for overextending into a warded jungle. So Kagrin right now is just basically giving a master class on jungle and objective priority and how to really, really give your team that edge.
And Twitch is just, again, if he gets ahead, he is one of the strongest AD carries in a sense that he is able to position himself wherever he wants with his invisibility, turn on his R, and mow the enemy team down. It is one of those situations where you do not, usually by the time you see where he is, it is too late for your team if he's this far ahead. So definitely we have to keep our eyes on Hops. If he goes down, it'd be really hard for his team to ensure their victory. So definitely going to be a high priority target for CBW. Uromeshi is really strong on this Gnar, does have the Mega Gnar, but here we go. The Xin Zhao ultimate keeps him safe for now, and the Mega Gnar ultimate doesn't really have a big impact, but that is the big kahuna in the Rocky ultimate, and here we go. Hops is already down. That is a huge teamfight win for CBW, as Bagut was nowhere near that fight. That is the combo that we were hoping for with this draft.
Yeah, and we see one item on Olaf. Even though he had the ult and he popped it, he was just way too squishy to be able to do anything in this fight. So that's what CBW wants, especially when TF is not on the map. Getting this, yes, the Gnar ultimate could have been a little bit better, maybe knock them in, but it doesn't matter. They do a really, really good job. Rocky with the handshake, flashing in, stopping Hops from killing everybody. Really, really good team fight from CBW.
Rocky played that fight about as well as he could have. A fantastic Renata ultimate. That flash handshake also ensuring that Twitch could not get those auto attacks off. Insane. Really well played by Rocky there, I think, carrying that fight.
Oh yeah, 100%. That was all the support doing everything. Like you said, Urameshi kind of messing up, but he did get in there and create a ton of chaos. And by the time that the rest of the team showed up, including the Annie, who was able to drop Tibbers onto 3 members there, it was just too late for Reapers, and they're going to have to be a little bit more careful about sitting inside of tribe rushes and corridors when they have an Annie, when they have a Renata to be able to ult there. And dare I say it, CBW picks up their first neutral objective of the series.
They did it
in game 2.
They did it. That is the angle that we were looking for. Give up the first 13 objectives in the series, and that 14th one. That is the one you're looking for. But again, that was just what those small scale, like, that was almost a full team fight. Bagut wasn't there, so like not quite a 5v5. But like those small skirmishes and like short burst team fights are really where we've seen CBW thrive. Olaf pops the ultimate. Will that be enough to get him away? I do not know. He does pop the ghost, so he is really, really fast. But did have to burn a lot there just to take out a turret. Don't really know if that was worth it, but loves Panda. Just trying to get leads wherever he can. Obviously, on that maybe still riding that high off the Darius game he had last time, but definitely not as impactful so far on the Olaf. We will have to see once he gets some items if he's able to turn that around.
Yeah, and like he still gets out without giving away a kill. So you did still get another neutral objective. Turret's probably not as good as the other ones because the buffs that they provide is strictly gold and map presence, whereas
Toastfish, yeah, that's just smart. Just use the flash before they're able to get their engages off. Here we go, Rocky face checking. That's not what you want to do. As the Renata, the hostile takeover does manage to snag two, but now Kagrin with that Xin Zhao ultimate does manage to hopefully snag, but Rocky's still alive. The ignite is on, but there we go. That last auto attack from Hops will take out the Renata, but I don't know if that was worth it, as down he goes as well. Love Panda is now being chased by this very, very angry Gnar. Bakut does have to pop the flash in order to get away from Typhoon, and finally they may even take their first dragon of the series as CBW takes that fight 3-1.
Yeah, and it just seems like Reapers, with all the good that they did in the last game of setting up objectives and getting the picks and the fights that they wanted or making CBW overextend, CBW is doing such a good job. Even though Rocky sort of oversteps, and this is illegal, just tanky enough to be able to get that off, and then Kagrin and Bagfoot just not enough follow-up damage. And then even though Hops comes in here and gets this, everybody else is dead. And if you're not going to be able to withstand the amount of CC that CBW has, and Urameshi still stronger on this Gnar than the Olaf, cannot match him, and really, really good. I love the hop over to the Sivir, and then the flash on top of the TF. But TF has to burn his own flash to get away there. So Reapers not out of this by any stretch of the means, but they do need to just make some sort of in-game adjustments and make a little bit better decision making, as CBW is ready to fight.
Yeah, the gold is even despite almost double the kills here for CBW. I think they're definitely, looking a lot better so far. Definitely had some hiccups in the early game, like around that Rift Herald and stuff, but still, for the most part, they're playing the, hey, we get gold through kills game. And so far in this game, it's working a lot better. I think Axel is having a way better game on the Sivir here, but here we go. Once again, we have another fight. The hostile takeover lands onto two yet again. Rocky is in her own W, but it's not going to be enough as it's 1-for-1 so far. Top laner for support. But that was a 5v4, and they come out with a 1. And not only that, they're chasing 3v4 right now. Spaghetti goes down. It's a huge ultimate here from Kagrin, though, as Toastfish goes down. And now the flash forward from Hops, and they overchase. That is not the play. Your Gnar has no teleports, and that is going to be a huge team fight error here for CBW, as they just gave over a ton of gold to their enemy.
Yeah, and this is the exact opposite of what happened last game, where Reapers did almost the same thing, but then took their small advantage and walked back, and baited the dragon play. CBW just needed to sit back and just bait this. Rocky gets caught again, but they blow a lot of the cooldowns onto the support. She still gets the hostile takeover, and then lives just long enough and almost actually gets the reset here onto the Olaf. But now you're chasing 3v4, as you were saying, and no matter how strong you are, your strongest player is the Gnar.
I don't understand this over chase. Hops is still full health, and what an ultimate from Kagrin, though. I think that turned the fight, because as soon as they got the Alistar, maybe I saw an angle, but as soon as Kagrin with that beautiful ultimate, just Hops is able to just flash in and clean up that team fight. Baron taken here by the side of the Reapers, and that is just... all of a sudden, the gold swing is now 2k in the opposite direction. What was an even game, perhaps even slightly favored to CBW, is now all of a sudden in the hands of Reapers once again.
Yeah, and then we'll see what they can get on this. You still have some standing gold left on these turrets. You do still kind of have the better team fight, until Olaf can probably get like another item maybe. But Typhoon sitting on top of this is almost caught again, and rip to the ward that was in that bush that Excel and Rocky are sitting in, because that was there from the very beginning of this game, and it's what got Typhoon killed early on. It finally goes down, so rip.
The wards get a buff if they've been active for I think it's more than 5 minutes, or it's like a ward of everlasting vigor or something like that. So imagine sitting there for 28 minutes. I wonder what kind of buff that ward gets then, but Here we go. We got a fight here in the bot lane. The CC immunity will last only so long as Urameshi does get that Mega Gnar, so Olaf does have to back off. But here we go. Looks like they're just forcing it down, even against the Baron. It looks like the confidence is still in CBW's favor here, as yeah, they're down 2k, but they're not acting like it, as it definitely looks like they have a bit of an edge here. But here we go. Spaghetti with the engage is gonna be 3v4 for now, because I do not know where the Twitch is. Yeah, Spaghetti goes down. They are gonna keep fighting under this turret here, but oh, the Berserk lands onto double. The knockup lands on Bagoots as well. Oh, Twitch is dead. That's why. I do not know what happened to the Twitch.
Yeah,
so,
I didn't see that either.
I was looking on the map that whole fight. I'm like, Twitch is gonna pop out of here somewhere. I know it, but my apologies. Turns out Twitch was dead, and I think that play happened off screen, and that might have been why they were playing with that renewed confidence. So it looks like it looks like it was a play on mid. So we'll have to see here in the replay. As Hops goes back to mid lane. And yeah, the whole team just rotates over. And
Yeah, and just jumps on him here.
yeah, that's what it looks like.
And then we see here too, Urameshi actually getting away from this. Is you're not getting away from Tibbers, poor little rat.
And that's where the confidence came from. So that makes a lot more sense now. Still about almost a 2k gold lead on the side of Reapers. Dragon has spawned. Kagran has already started it. TF has used the ult in order to get here. Spaghetti does have that ultimate, hasn't used it yet. Now he does, but is already so dangerously low. The CC immunity is there. But Toastfish is going to be able to live, but Rocky is going to die instead, and they are so low that I don't think they're going to be able to contest for this dragon anymore, and this might be Soul going over to the side of Reapers. They aren't taking the dragon yet, and they are... looks like they might be prepping for a regroup here, but Toastfish is so low. Typhoon is really low as well. Spaghetti might have enough space for one engage before he goes down, but it does not look like they will contest. It's Soul going over to the Reapers, again, with a bit of a comfortable lead. 2k at 30 minutes is not meaningful in any way. I still think the team fights could go either way. We'll have to see. It just has to come down to better execution.
Yeah, and I think that if, Hops does a really, really good job flanking over from the north side here, he works his way all the way around. All of this is happening, and he's just getting into position, and then there he comes in. He gets a full ult off onto Rocky, and unfortunately, her W was already placed on Toastfish, who ended up not needing it. So unfortunate, there was no Renata ult to
No, he did
around.
need it. He did go down. Toastfish did go down, but then the W
that's right.
revived him when Love's Panda died. So
So just... These
Yeah, go ahead.
these fights are so close. It's literally sitting on a razor's edge here, and Hop's doing a really, really good job of just playing the sneaky rat and making up for the fact that he gets caught out mid earlier, and just completely turns that fight around and makes it just no way that CBW is going to be able to answer.
It's a 3-item Twitch at this point. Definitely can do some damage if he gets into the right area, onto the right targets. Definitely will not be able to carve through Urameshi at this point. I don't think Urameshi is just way too tanky on this Gnar. We will have to see if he can get onto Rocky or XL or Toastfish. I do think Hops just deletes them from the map. Again, you just have to find that good flank with the invisibility, but not so close that you just get jumped. So it's definitely a bit of a science here to execute this Twitch effectively. But with Baron spawning in a minute, that is where everyone's attention is right now. We see wards here for CBW, so they're not walking in completely blind, but obviously a bit better angle here for Reapers, who did manage to get the first wards in.
Yeah, and and they get their reset and their back off when they want it. They do have everything, but now they've just given up all this vision that they've established because they put it in and then reset. What they should have done was just reset and then get all the vision that they wanted while Hops is pushing mid and just staying around. But
the handshake is there, but doesn't really do anything. Hits him away from the Scuttle Crab though, so they do manage to get that speed boost here in the river. Again, these teams ridiculously close. That Mega Gnar is almost there. This is the time to fight. Twitch is behind the Baron pit, perhaps looking for an angle. doesn't have the, okay, just drop the invisibility. They are looking for something here as they go forward. The Mega Gnar has popped. Here we go. Spaghetti is going in, does manage to get the double knock off, and it's Twitch in the back, but he just berserks, so now he has to attack a war for a couple of autos, but that's not going to stop him. The Twitch is there with the double kill, but Urameshi is trying to wipe him off the map, but the flash will keep him alive. It's a massively well executed team fight for the Reapers. Urameshi has lost his rage bar. The angry Yordle is angry no more, and down he goes to the Viking. It's an ace for nothing for the Reapers.
And what a clean fight this was. The disengage from Loves Panda and Spaghetti to just kind of just kite them back so perfectly, and XL was already so low from the flank from the Twitch, and then just Bagfoot taking out Annie basically solo, and then just everything fell apart for CBW there. They were not ready for that Twitch to come from behind them. Really, really good job by Reapers to just slow it down, play it out, and wait for everybody to be positioned. And then they just take advantage of that and get the Baron, the clean ace.
So I was watching the bottom corner. Twitch died to the Baron, but that does mean that no one gets his bounty, but it does mean that he does not get the Baron buff. So a little bit sad for the rat there, but overall, 5-0 team fight. Really, really well played. Again, we saw that angle with the Twitch, but the hostile takeover used exclusively on him. Yeah, he spent a couple autos on a ward, but like that did not lock him down effectively. I still think sending the hostile takeover the other way and then using maybe your handshake on him might have been better, but like overall just a really, really good flank there from Hops. And yeah, Urameshi tries to turn on him, but then the flash is there. Really well played overall, and all of a sudden this gold lead has now spiked to over 7k.
Yeah, and now what I want to see is Hops in the side lane with no Baron buff to just basically mind game them to get it out of there. But Typhoon.
All right, but here we go. Typhoon has to use the flash and the hop to get away, but yeah, this siege is now just so difficult to deal with. I mean, Hops is a one-shotting machine here. Yes, again, does not have the Baron, has to use his team for that, but with 4 other members with that Baron buff, I don't think it's the most necessary thing for the Twitch to have at this point. Does have the Quicksilver Sash, so I don't know if he actually had that in the last fight. That may have been why he only had to use 2 autos on there, but it also could have just been that's how long the CC lasted for, but does have that in order to get out of the hostile takeover in a pinch, because yes, hostile takeover Twitch can wipe his own team very, very quickly. Definitely attacks that you need to do. But here we go. The final siege has started. The Baron minions are absolutely wailing on these turrets. Urameshi is already dropped, but now this Quicksilver Sash is used by Hops in order to make sure that Timbers cannot one-shot him. The hostile takeover lands on a 2. Spaghetti is here, but oh no, he bumped Typhoon right over to the Twitch. That is not what you wanted to do. Twitch does go down, but it does cost Typhoon his life. But Spaghetti using the headbutt to kill his own ADC is not what you want. But both turrets have gone down. Are they able to just end the game here? Toastfish does pop the Zonias in order to try and escape, but now they're just wailing on the Nexus, and it's not going to be enough. And that will end this series. The Elegy Reapers will take this one 2-0, proving why they deserve to be at the top.
Yeah, and I love the Twitch pick here. It was so good. It wasn't TF, it was Twitch. I really, really love
that.
This.
Was a really
I love the way
the double Twitch, the double TF strategy. That like it's ideal,
There we go. I really love the way the Reapers just played so, and even in the mid game when they were messing up a little bit, they went back to what was working. They played so well in like kiting, disengaging, and doing what they needed to get all the positioning and get everybody in CBW who's just walking into every trap. CBW had a lot of fighting in this game. Big props to them for coming out, being aggressive, getting the picks, and then their early team fight was really good. But then once Hops came online, it was just too much to deal with, and unfortunately for them, they just couldn't pull it off.
And I mean, again, Toastfish, I think the best player on a losing team, like definitely had impact on that Annie, was looking for the stuns, did the most damage, went 7-3-9 on a losing team. That's definitely a score you have to respect. I think Toastfish putting up his best effort, but unfortunately the team was just not on his back there, and I think Hops in this game really showing, was was pretty quiet in game one, was kind of just a side character to the Darius show, but showing in this game, that flank on that Baron won the game for the team. So definitely a very, very well executed fight, well executed game by him.
Yeah, and even though that Olaf wasn't as impactful early on, late game when he finally got a little bit of items, once the Death Dance comes online, he was able to survive a lot. And being CC immune and basically turning off the Renata ult on himself and being able to just create such havoc. There was once again in the later plays, Excel away from the rest of the team, not able to get all those autos off. Had a lot of items, had a lot of money funneled into him, but just couldn't pull it out. Just a little unfortunate. This is a tale of the ADCs here, and Hops just, as you said, overshadowed just a little bit too much. Excel just not enough on the Sivir here.
100%. XL definitely had a way better game than in game one. Got to give credit where credit's due. But definitely Hops, I think, was the superior in game two. Again, just that twitch. As soon as you get a couple items, that last team fight just absolutely mowed down everybody on the enemy team. And they didn't see it coming, because of course they didn't. You don't expect the ADC to just appear in your own backline and just act like an assassin and wipe them out. So definitely was a really well executed fight. It was a 5-0, won them the game in a game that up until that point was still insanely close. I honestly thought CBW had a chance in that game because, at that Otacon fight, they played it perfectly. They got the Otacon. The next Dragon fight, they played it perfectly, got that Dragon. Like, they had moments of brilliance against one of the top teams, but unfortunately, they could not keep it going for the entirety of the game, and they do come up short.
Right, and it just goes to show why Reapers is the number one team in this league, and they showed it here. The reason why is just that, like, even though they started messing up, you could tell that the communication was still there, that they were like, hey, we lost that fight because, and then they just didn't do it again, and so even though they got caught out in a bad position at the Otacon, even though they made some poor macro decisions during that small frame of the game, they were able to come back and go right back to their strategy, right back to what they wanted to do, right back to just having them come to you and then just re-engage like they did in game one over and over again. So really well done by Elegy Reapers. Congratulations on the victory. Congratulations on keeping the top spot. And congratulations on pulling off Double Twisted Fate.
No one expects the Double Twisted Fates. It's a broken strategy. But any final thoughts from you, Fel, before we sign off for the evening?
It was a pleasure to watch Elegy do their thing. Big props to CBW for keeping, especially game 2, very close. Want to thank Anti and Freelance. I'm sorry.
And the other one.
Thank you for filling in for Mojo, and thank you Freelance for producing along with Anti. You guys did a wonderful job, and thank you Chat for staying active and giving us something to read during the 1% of the game that was a lull.
Yeah, no kidding. Constant action, that's what we love to see. For all of us here at Titan, thank you for joining us tonight. Be sure to join the rest of our streams throughout the rest of the week. But everyone stay safe out there. Enjoy the week and take care of yourselves. Catch you later.